If someone told you that your dream is beyond your reach, would you believe them? This is the story of Olivia, an ordinary girl from a small town with an extraordinary dream to become a pilot. People laughed. They said, "It's impossible. This isn't for girls. It's too expensive, too difficult." She fell. She failed. Her training was stopped. Her dream stood on the edge of breaking. One day, the sky was right in front of her, and her heart was filled with fear. Only one decision remained: give up, or believe in herself one last time. When the plane was shaking, when the clouds were closing in, when everything felt out of control, that was the moment. She did what people call impossible. This isn't just the story of one girl. It's the story of everyone whose dreams were mocked. So what did Olivia do in the end? Did she become a pilot? Or did her dream remain in the sky? Stay with me till the end to find out. Olivia was born in an ordinary city, where the sky was always clearly visible from her bedroom window. Since childhood, she would spend hours sitting by the window, watching airplanes soar among the clouds. For her, airplanes were not just machines of metal. They were symbols of freedom, courage, and dreams. Olivia's father was a school teacher, quiet, responsible, and realistic. He loved his daughter deeply, but he believed that becoming a pilot is not easy for girls. Her mother was a nurse whose eyes always carried the light of encouragement and prayers. She understood Olivia's dream from the heart, even if the world called it impossible. The city's only flight instructor was a man with a strict demeanor, a deep voice, and eyes that held years of experience. At first, he doubted Olivia's abilities, but he could not ignore her determination. A city where a small airport exists, where the air smells of earth and the sky stretches endlessly. In the morning, the first rays of sunlight fall on the runway, and in the evening, the sun sets behind the airplanes. This was Olivia's field of dreams, where every day brought a new challenge, and every evening gave birth to new hope. In this city where people draw limits, Olivia decided she would soar beyond them. This was not just a dream. It was about to become her identity. As Olivia's dreams became clearer, the challenges began to rise alongside them. When she first said in school that she wanted to become a pilot, laughter echoed through the classroom. Some said, "This is a boy's job," while others, with a sarcastic smile, said, "It only looks good in movies." Those words pierced Olivia's heart like arrows. But she remained silent, a silence that was quietly turning into a vow within her. At home, things were different, but equally challenging. When her father calculated the costs of tuition and training, deep lines of worry appeared on his forehead. "This path is very expensive," he said, "and there's no guarantee of success." For the first time, Olivia stood between her dream and the reality of her home. That night, she stayed awake for hours, looking at the sky, tears in her eyes and a question in her heart. Are dreams really this expensive? Her first training at the airport was not easy either. Flight instructor Mr. Harding gave strict instructions in a harsh voice, criticizing even the smallest mistakes. The controls felt heavy, the wind uncontrollable, and her heart pounded violently. Many times her hands trembled, and for a moment she felt that maybe she really wasn't meant for this. But with every difficulty, a new fire was ignited. Every taunt, every failure, and every fear strengthened Olivia's belief that this path was not easy, but it was the path toward her dream. Every morning, Olivia stood in front of the mirror and asked herself, "Can I really do this?" Wearing a smile, she would head out for training, though a small corner of her heart still harbored fear. Mr. Harding's strictness only increased. One day, after a minor mistake during landing, he said in front of everyone, "Keep your emotions out of the cockpit, or the sky will not forgive you." This sentence became Olivia's greatest test. She knew she was sensitive, but in that very sensitivity lay her hidden strength. The emotional struggle at home was no less intense. Her father's silence began to feel more like distance than support. He didn't want to see his daughter break, which was why he grew stricter. On the other hand, her mother would come to her room every night and simply say, "Don't lose courage, even if everyone else does." Those words became oxygen for Olivia. One evening, when she was sitting alone on the airport runway, the sun was setting. The sound of airplanes matched the beat of her heart. Tears flowed from her eyes, but there was no weakness in them. They were a mix of fatigue, fear, and hope. In that moment, Olivia promised herself that she would not run from her emotions, but would turn them into her strength. Because dreams demand not only courage, but also heart. This was the stage where Olivia felt that everything was slipping from her hands. An important solo flight test, on which the future of her training depended, was scheduled for that very day. The sky was clear, but a storm raged within Olivia. As the plane raced down the runway, her heart pounded faster. The takeoff was successful, but as soon as she reached the air, a sudden jolt hit. The controls shook, and for a moment, her mind went blank. Mr. Harding's voice came through the radio. "Regain control. Don't panic." But the panic had already settled deep in her heart. One wrong movement, and the landing became difficult. The plane remained safe, but the test failed. As she landed on the runway, the decision was announced. Olivia's training was temporarily suspended. The news hit her like an earthquake. Years of hard work, prayers and sacrifices shattered in a single sentence. That night, for the first time, she seriously wondered if people were right. Maybe this dream was truly beyond her reach. Her father quietly said, "There's still time. Choose another path." Those words were wrapped in gentleness, yet they felt like a heavy burden on Olivia's heart. The next day, she did not go to the airport. The runway was empty, and in its place, a question echoed in her heart. Should giving up a dream be called wisdom? But in that silence, she saw a truth. Failure had not broken her. It had only shown her a mirror. The problem was not the airplane. It was her fear. And when fear is recognized, it can be confronted. After her training was paused, Olivia's life seemed to slow down suddenly. Mornings that once began with an alarm and hope now sank into silence. She saw the road to the airport every day, but her feet would not move forward. On social media, the flights and successes of her peers left a quiet ache in her heart. Every picture, every smile, reminded her that she was left behind. Financial pressure also increased. Worry was clearly visible on her father's face, and even small things at home caused tension. Olivia began to blame herself, as if her dream had brought hardship to everyone. One day she said to her mother, "Maybe I should just stop." Her mother held her hand, tears in her eyes. She knew that if a dream stops, a person stops too. The deepest low came when she received a letter from the academy. If no improvement is shown by the specified time, her admission will be canceled. Those words were the final warning for her. That night, she stayed awake for hours, replaying every mistake and every fear in her mind. Her confidence was breaking, and the question kept rising in her heart, am I really not enough? But in those days, a small light also appeared. Mr. Harding sent her a message. If you truly want to come back, first learn to believe in yourself. The words were not a command. They were a doorway. Olivia realized that this was not just a battle of training. It was a battle for her own identity, and this was a fight she was not ready to lose. The day arrived that Olivia both feared and awaited. The academy had given her one last chance, a decisive flight. It was not just a test, it was an account of her dreams, her identity, and years of struggle. Standing near the plane on the runway, she paused for a few moments. Her hands trembled, her heart raced, yet her eyes held a strange light, courage peeking beyond fear. As soon as the plane took off, the wind suddenly grew strong. The clouds came closer, and the controls began to feel heavy. Mr. Harding's voice came through the radio, but this time it was not a command, it was confidence. Remember, the sky is not your enemy, understand it. Those words changed something within Olivia. She took a deep breath, steadied her hands, and aligned the plane with the rhythm of her heartbeat. Suddenly, a dangerous jolt hit. For a moment, everything froze. Fear, voices, time. In that instant, all the taunts, all the failures, and all the prayers surfaced together in her mind. She told herself, I have come this far, I will not go back now. The time to land arrived. The runway approached quickly. She applied the very techniques she had learned through repeated failures. The wheels touched the ground, a slight jolt, and then silence. The plane had stopped. Tears ran down Olivia's eyes in the cockpit. These were not tears of fear. They were tears of victory. In that moment, she proved that dreams do not just come true. They complete a person. The silence on the runway after landing matched the rhythm of Olivia's heartbeat. A few moments later, the door opened and Mr. Harding's voice sounded not harsh this time, but calm. Welcome back, Pilot Olivia. Those words were more valuable than any certificate. Years of doubt, fear, and struggle dissolved in a single sentence. When she returned home, the atmosphere had changed. Her father silently hugged her, without any advice, without any questions. That embrace contained everything that words could never express: pride, forgiveness, and belief. Tears glistened in her mother's eyes, but her face bore the smile that comes only when prayers are answered. In that moment, Olivia realized that her dream was not hers alone. It had changed everyone. A few weeks later, her uniform was ready. Looking in the mirror, Olivia remembered the girl who once timidly wove dreams while staring at the sky. Now that same sky awaited her name. She told herself, impossible is just a word, not a decision. The story does not end here. It begins anew. For every success demands a new journey. Olivia had learned that dreams being fulfilled is not the destination. It is the courage, patience, and belief one gains along the way. And when a girl stands firm behind her dream, even the sky makes a way.